إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الذين جاءوا بالإفك عصبة منكم لا تحسبوه شرا لكم بل هو خير لكم لكل امرئ منهم ما اكتسب من الإثم والذي تولى كبره منهم له عذاب عظيم لولا إذ سمعتموه ظن المؤمنين والمؤمنات بأنفسهم خيرا وقالوا هذا إفك مبين وقال أيضا إن الذين يحبون أن تشيع الفاحشة في الذين آمنوا لهم عذاب أليم في الدنيا والآخرة والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. Amma ba'd. Dear brothers and sisters, we begin by praising Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We begin by sending peace and blessings upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon his companions, and upon all the righteous who have followed in their footsteps. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from those who follow in their footsteps. Ameen. In the past couple of weeks, we've been speaking about creating an Islamic environment, a Islamic community. And we did so by bringing up passages from Surah Al-Hujurat. As we know that Surah Al-Hujurat, another name for it is Surah Al-Akhlaq. It's a surah which teaches us or emphasizes greatly regarding manners, morals, the way we should behave and conduct with one another. We mentioned that in order for an Islamic community to exist, now what exactly is an Islamic community? Just to define that. An Islamic community, we can define it roughly as a community wherein Muslims are free to practice their deen. We already have that sort of environment. Alhamdulillah, we live in a country whereby we have a lot of religious freedom, more than many countries we come from. So that's there. But another aspect of an Islamic community is when every member of the community feels safe, they feel welcome, and they don't feel any hostility or they don't feel any sort of fear from other members of the community. As we mentioned, that a community is a big family, it's a large family. We all have one goal that I'm working towards. You have a settlement and then you have a community. A settlement is just a group of people, maybe they share the same background, maybe they share the same culture, and they live together. They live together in one area, in one locality, and they have different objectives in life. They're doing whatever they're doing, no problem. On the other hand, a community is a group of people that share the same visions, they share the same perspective in life, they share the same goals in life, and they are working as a team to meet those objectives and bring those goals into action, to bring those goals into manifestation. That's what a community is. As a Muslim community, all of us are working towards one goal, and that is creating a safe haven, creating an environment where our children can grow up, creating an environment where we don't have to worry about our children getting involved in drugs, wherein we don't have to worry about our children getting involved in crime, in a gang activity, where we don't have to worry about our children being caught up in the wrong place at the wrong time with the law. That's our vision as a community. Also, another vision of our community as a Muslim community is that we can live with one another and not have to worry about people undermining us, not have to worry about people spreading rumors about one another. These are critical aspects of what makes up a Muslim community, an Islamic community. And that's all of our objectives. We want to live in a community whereby all of us are respected, all of us are welcome, and we know that people from our members, our community members, support one another. That we help one another when we're in need. That if someone from our community is in trouble, the rest of the community gets together and they assist them. So we spoke about how to create that sort of environment, how to create that sort of community. And the way it's done is really is very simple. The way a good community is created is when each member can feel that they are welcome and they are safe within their community. And by being safe, it's not only limited to physical safety or material safety, but also the safety of their integrity and their honor. That if someone had to spread rumors about them, if someone had to say something derogatory about them behind their back, then this will not be accepted. Why? Because this is now an attack on their integrity and on their honor. So we were speaking about these aspects. This is very important. We were speaking about this in the past couple of weeks. And then in Surah Al-Hujurat, we mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks greatly about these kind of things, about how backbiting, spreading rumors, making fun of people, insulting people because of the way they look, or aspects of racism, whereby we belittle others because of their origin, of their culture, of their ethnicity. How these kind of things completely break up a society, how they completely break up a community. We spoke about that in great detail. Today, the objective, what I want to illustrate, is how these things that we consider them to be very frivolous. That what's so bad about backbiting every now and then? What's so bad about spreading a rumor? Sometimes it's very interesting, sometimes very tempting. It's very fun to listen to. What's so bad about it? We're not really harming anyone. We're not killing anyone, right? And today, the lesson that we're going to be learning, inshallah, today and in the upcoming weeks, we're going to be learning that a simple rumor, how devastating it can be on a community. How a simple rumor about someone can break up a community. And we're going to learn this through an incident which took place during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was involving the wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha radiallahu anha. Aisha radiallahu anha had been accused of being in an illicit relationship with another man. Na'udhu billah, right? That wasn't the case at all. But hypocrites, a hypocrite is a person who outwardly they seem as though they're Muslim, outwardly they say they're Muslims, but deep inside they hate Muslims, deep inside they hate Islam, deep inside they hate Allah and they hate Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the munafiqun, the hypocrites, they found an opportunity and they began spreading these rumors regarding Aisha radiallahu anha. And this incident was so severe that it brought the community on the brink where they were, about to break. That's how devastating it is. So, these spreading rumors, lying about people, backbiting, insulting people, these things are not small things. These things can break communities apart. When we think of a bad community, we think of a community wherein, there's full of crime, there's murder, there's drugs, there's gangs and whatnot. That's one picture of a bad community. But another picture of a bad community is when everything looks fine, the roads are clean, there's no violence, everyone's safe, but no one is safe from each other's tongues. That, people have to worry about what they share with other people because they're afraid that, they may spread rumors, or because, their integrity is at jeopardy, or their honor is at risk. That's another picture of a crumbling society. That's another picture of a completely broken community. So we have to consider these things, and these things are not small. These things are not things that we can just pass by. And in fact, this was such a devastating incident that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to reveal an entire surah regarding this. A portion of an entire surah is dedicated just towards this issue. That how should Muslims react when they hear other people backbiting, when they hear other people spreading rumors about people? What is the appropriate action, and what is the punishment of the people that engage in spreading rumors. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses, the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks regarding this incident is not, soft at all. In fact, it's very critical, it's very harsh, and it's straight to the point. And there's a lot of repercussion for the people who spread rumors, for the people who insult people, and for the people who try to attack other people's integrity and honor. Now, before we move on, we mentioned that in order for our communities to succeed, we must have a community wherein we support one another, we assist one another, and we look after, we protect one another. But another critical aspect of developing a good community is also having a good community leader, whereby the community leader ensures and creates an environment whereby the community leader teaches everyone else that we can disagree with one another, and that's fine, but at the same time, disagreements should not result to communities breaking up. Disagreements should not result to people arguing and fighting and not speaking to one another. It's absolutely fine to disagree with one another. There's nothing wrong. During the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were Sahaba radiallahu anhum who disagreed with one another. They had different outlooks in life, they had different perspectives, and that's completely fine. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam allowed it. As human beings, we will disagree with the people we love. We will disagree with our wives sometimes. We will disagree with our husbands, our spouses. We will disagree with our children will disagree with us. That's absolutely fine. But when it comes to the disagreement, there's a proper way to disagree. There's a proper way to offer criticism. There's a proper way to offer suggestion. Disagreement should not result to discord and hatred and animosity. It shouldn't result to that. So, my message to everyone here is that we want to create that sort of environment. That sort of environment is created first and foremost in the masjid, and then in our homes. Our masjid and our homes, that's where it begins. I don't have control over your homes. I don't live with you guys. But you guys can invite me to your homes, no problem. But in the masjid, if I say something that is incorrect, then please, after the khutbah, whenever, come and talk to me. Tell me that I was wrong. Tell me that, brother, I don't disagree. I'm not going to beat you up, right? I'm not going to bring you up here and say, this person, he's a bad person. I'm not going to do any of that. There's people who come to me on a weekly basis. They come and tell me, I heard your khutbah and I didn't disagree with that. I like that because it shows me that, people are paying attention. They're not just sleeping, right? So don't, if I make a mistake, and I make mistakes, don't feel, pressured, or don't feel scared to come and approach me. If I say something wrong, and I can say something wrong, it's possible I've said things that are wrong in the past. Come and approach me, no problem. We want to create this environment whereby we learn to criticize one another respectfully. That even after we disagree, even after we, offer suggestion, even after we offer our criticism, we can walk away as brothers, we can walk away as sisters, we can walk away as community members. That just because this person pointed out a mistake, or just because this person disagrees with me, therefore, I never speak to that person, I hate that. No, that's not the situation at all. So, as an example, if I say something you don't like, if I say something that's wrong, or if I say something that you disagree with, feel free to approach me. We can sit down, we can speak, and inshallah we can walk away as brothers, sisters, as community members, as Muslims loving one another, inshallah. So the story the incident of Aisha radiallahu anha, this is a major incident during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This incident was called al-ifk, the incident of ifk. We mentioned that it involves Aisha radiallahu anha, it involves a number of hypocrites, and more importantly, it involves a number of Muslims, which shows us that when it comes to evil speech, when it comes to spreading rumors, backbiting, lying, and these kind of things, that even Muslims, even good Muslims can get involved in this, which gives us a lesson that if we're not careful, then we can be involved in this kind of these kind of things. We have to be very vigilant. We have to be aware of our surroundings. We have to be careful what we say about other people, what we're hearing about other people, what we accept, because even the best of us can get involved in this, and it results in nothing but evil. There's no good in it. So this incident involves Aisha radiallahu anha, a number of hypocrites, and a number of Sahaba, companions, which is a very important lesson for us, that no one is safe. If we're not vigilant, if we're not wary, we can fall into the same trap. Now, this incident is called al-ifk. Ifk in Arabic means al-kadhib wal-buhtan, which is lying and rumors. So an ifk is in Arabic the word ifk means when you spread lies about people, when you spread rumors about people. When you see someone doing something, right? Say for example, you see someone helping out an elderly lady. She's disabled or she's handicapped, and you see someone helping her out. You see a man helping her out, and you don't like this guy. So you start going around telling the community, I saw this man with another lady. He was very close to her. He took her to her home. I don't know what he did after that. All that is true. He was with another lady. He was very close to her. He took her home. But you're leaving out so many details. You're completely stating out of context, and you're doing it intentionally to ridicule, to spread rumors about that person. Then as soon as you say stuff like that, it's planted in our minds now. That, wow, this person, I thought he was a good guy, but he's doing these bad kind of things. And then imagine if he has a family, and these kind of rumors spread. It will cause a lot of distrust, a lot of chaos within the family itself. Imagine if this person had a wife. So that's what an ifk is. That's what spreading rumors and spreading lies about people. That's what it means. So the story, it's a very long story, and because the story involves Aisha radiallahu anha, it's simply fair that we let Aisha radiallahu anha narrate the story to us. And the entire story, she narrates it after many years after the incident took place. She tells the story to someone else, and the entire story has been recorded. So it says that قالت عائشة رضي الله عنها كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أراد سفرا أقرع بين أزواجه فأيتهن خرج سهمها خرج بها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم معه. So she says that whenever the Messenger of Allah ﷺ would go out on a journey or an expedition, what he would do is to pick which wife would go along with him in that journey. He would have this raffle. Their names would be put, and then they would have this raffle, and whosever name came out, that wife would go with Rasulullah ﷺ on that journey, because to take all his wives would be a hassle. As it is back then, going on a journey, going on an expedition was not easy. There's a lot of work, you have to take care of a lot of people, so on and so forth. So she says that whoever name came out, that person would go with Rasulullah ﷺ. And then she says, قالت عائشة فأقرع بيننا في غزوة غزاها فخرج فيها سهمي. That in that raffle, my name came out. And she says, فأقرع بيننا في غزوة غزاها. She says that Rasulullah ﷺ drew a raffle in some expedition, I can't remember. Understand something about Aisha radiallahu anha. Aisha radiallahu anha is one of the Sahaba, one of the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, who narrated one of the largest number of hadith. Her memory was excellent. She was one of the brightest, the smartest, and the most intelligent people, not women, but people, including over men, during the time of Rasulullah ﷺ. After Rasulullah ﷺ passed away, there were so many men who came to Aisha radiallahu anha to learn from her, because she was considered to be one of the greatest scholars of Medina. So her memory was great. But over here she's saying it was some expedition, I can't exactly remember which expedition, which shows us that this incident which involved her was so devastating, was so hard on her, that she forgot some of these details. When a person gets involved in like a car crash, or they witness something traumatizing, they don't remember all the details. They remember what's very important, but this other details, they forget, or they, misconstrue it. Same thing with Aisha. It was such a difficult time for her. She was under so much stress and pressure that she forgot these details, despite having such accurate, strong memory. So she says that, in one of these expeditions, my name came out. So she says, فَخْرَجْتُ مَعَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ بَعْدَمَا أَنزَلَ الْحِجَابِ فَكُنْتُ أَحْمَلُ فِي حَوْدَجِي وَأُنْزَلُ فِي. So she says that my name came out, so I went with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And she says that this expedition took place بَعْدَمَا أَنزَلَ الْحِجَابِ, after the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of hijab had been revealed. Over here, the word hijab does not refer to the conventional meaning of hijab as we know it. When we hear the word hijab, we think of, what women wear, the head covering, the headscarf. This is not what this is speaking about. Hijab in this context is speaking about something else. Understand that the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a rank which was greater than the rank of any other Muslim during that time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honored and respected the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And as we know that the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are also called the mothers of the Muslims, Ummahatul Mu'minin, that they are the mothers of the believers. In other words, even after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had passed away, it was not permitted for anyone to marry the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are our mothers, we love them, we respect them. And in order to protect their chastity, in order to protect their integrity and honor, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had greater rules for them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had greater measurements in protecting their honor. When you want to safeguard something really valuable, you don't just throw it around everywhere. Especially, like if you're a millionaire, and you have like a stash of cash in your house, you're not going to take a picture of and put up on Facebook, look at this nice stash of cash I have. Unless you're like, you have bodyguards, anyways, right? But you don't do that, right? Because you're jeopardizing yourself. So over here, likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to protect our mothers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to protect the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But also, because it's human nature that when we see the opposite gender, we either feel attracted to them or we don't. That's human nature. And the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, some of them were very young, some of them were very beautiful, and if other men had to see them, even if it's a natural thing in us. So in order to protect that chastity, in order to protect their modesty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed an extra command for the believing, for the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Their special instruction was that for normal women, if they want to go out of their homes, they simply have to cover what needs to be covered. For the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when they left their homes, they actually had to be in a physical barrier. And she speaks about that. It's called a hawdaj. It's like hawdaj. It's like I can't remember the English term for it, but it's a physical barrier. It's like a cart when you go in and then no one can see you. Back then people would you would have people carrying them. You have 4 people carrying on one side, there's a big compartment, and people carry them. That's what a hawdaj is. It's a compartment. It's a physical barrier. So that was the special command for the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when they go out, they have to ensure that they remain inside a physical barrier. And that was their special command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is, this shows us something. This shows us something that in Islam, the way people are honored, the way women are honored and protected is by protecting their chastity, by protecting their dignity, by protecting their modesty. We live in the exact opposite. We live in a culture that's the exact opposite. The culture we live in is, if you're not naked, if you're not showing off your skin, if you're not showing off your body, then you're backwards, you're oppressed, and you're uneducated. And this is not far-fetched. You know, what I'm saying is not far-fetched. Just recently, you had the French Minister of Women's Rights. She said, women who choose to cover themselves are like the Africans who accepted slavery. You know, what kind of nonsense is that? What about men who choose to cover themselves? You know, why is it that women need to completely be naked and men have to cover themselves? It's prevalent everywhere we look. You know, even in the movies that they show nowadays, whether it's intentional or not, that's a different issue. But you see, like, you know, our kids, we love watching, like, you know, like these action hero movies. You see the superheroes, the guys, they're covered from. Look at Batman. The only thing Batman is like wearing a niqab. The only thing that's visible is his mouth. And then you see the lady, she's like completely naked. Why is that? You know, so we live in a society that is the exact opposite, and we have to teach this to especially to our daughters, that honor is not when you're able to just freely walk around naked. That's not what it is. Islam has a guideline for what is honor, what is considered noble, and what is considered righteous. And in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us that when women, not only women, but men as well, that when we cover ourselves, when we dress appropriately, then we are honoring ourselves. We are protecting our chastity, and we are protecting our dignity. So that's very important. So she says that فَكُنْتُ أَحْمَلُ فِي حَوْدَجِي وَأُنْزَلُ فِي, that this compartment, I would be carried in this compartment, and the men would lower the compartment for me so that I could go in it. So then she says, فَسِرْنَا حَتَّى إِذَا فَرَغَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ مِنْ غَزْوَتِهِ تِلْكَ وَقَفَلَ فَدَنَوْنَا مِنَ الْمَدِينَةِ قَافِلِينَ. So then she says that we continued to journey until we finished our expedition. And after finishing our expedition, we were returning back to Medina. And while we were returning back to Medina, she said, آذَنَ لَيْلَةً بِالرَّحِيلِ فَكُمْتُ حِينَ آذَنُ بِالرَّحِيلِ فَمَشَيْتُ حِينَ جَاوَزْتَ الْجَيْشِ. So she says that as we were returning back from our expedition, as we were returning back to Medina, you know, back then, imagine there's 1,000 people traveling together. And when you have so many people traveling together, you can't just stop whenever you want to. You know, if you've ever gone on a road trip, and say for example you have like 4 children, imagine if each children every single hour says, I have to go to the bathroom. You're gonna be delayed by 5-6 hours. So and if you have 1,000 people traveling with you, you can't just stop because one person wants to stop. So what they would do is they would make one stop. Throughout the entire day, they would just make one stop. And they would stop at night. Because, again, there were no roads. It's all desert. If someone had to use the bathroom, then during the daytime, it wasn't very comfortable because other people can see you. So during the night when it was pitch black, they would stop, and whoever had to use the bathroom, whoever had to relieve themselves, they would go, and you know, it was dark and they had their privacy. So they said, so Aisha, she says that we're traveling back from the expedition, we're going home to Medina, and then we stopped. We stopped so that we can take a break and relieve ourselves. And she says, فَمَشَيْتُ حَتَّى جَاوَزْتُ الْجَيْشِ. So after we stopped, I got off my compartment out of my hawdaj and I left. I passed the army, I passed the group of people, and I went to relieve myself. And then she says, فَلَمَّا قَضَيْتُ شَأْنِي أَقْبَلْتُ إِلَى رِحْلِي. That after I relieved myself, I came back. فَلَمَسْتُ صَدْرِي فَإِذَا عِقْدٌ لِي مِنْ جِزْءِ ضِفَارٍ قَدْ انْقَطَعَ. She says, as I was returning back, I noticed that, you know, the necklace I had been wearing was not there anymore. This necklace, she says, was made out of جِزْءِ ضِفَار, which is a material we know as onyx. It's like a special, a precious stone. This necklace was not something very expensive, but this necklace was given to her by Rasulullah ﷺ. And although it wasn't expensive, but she loved it a lot because it was given to her by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there was a lot of sentimental value to it. She did not want to lose it. In fact, she lost this necklace once before in another journey, and she went and told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the entire group of people had to wait till she found her necklace. But this time, back then, it was during the day. Now it's during the night. So she says, my necklace that was on her neck, it wasn't there anymore. So she says, فَرَجَعْتُ فَالْتَمَسْتُ إِقْدِي فَحَبَسَنِي إِبْتِغَاؤُهُ, that I went back to look for my necklace, and as I was searching for it, it delayed me. قالت, and then she says, وَأَقْبَلَ الرَّهْتُ الَّذِينَ كَانُوا يَرْحَلُونَنِي, and the group, the people that we were with, they left. You know, it's nighttime. There is no way of actually keeping, monitoring who's there and who's not. So they thought that everyone was there, and they left. And so she says, فَاحْتَمَلُوا هَدَجِي فَرَحَلُوا عَلَى بَعِيرِ الَّذِي كُنْتُ أَرْكَبُ عَلَيْهِ وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنِّي فِيهِ. And then she says, the people that were carrying my compartment, they left. And then she explains that, it's awkward that they would feel that, there was a person in there. Why is it so light now? So then she says, وَكَانَ النِّسَاء إِذْ ذَا خِفَافًا لَمْ يَهْبُلْنَ ولم يخشهن اللحم إنما يأكلن العلقة من الطعام. She says, understand that the women back then, they were very thin, they were very skinny, they were very light. Why? Because we hardly had any food. The only food we would eat is what we had, and that was very small, just 1 or 2 dates, just a little bit of food throughout the day. All of us were very skinny, we were all light. So even though they picked up the compartment, they did not realize that Aisha was in there because she was so light. So they left without her, and then she says, فَلَمْ يَسْتَنْكِرِ الْقَوْمُ خِفَّةَ الْهَوْدَجِ حِينَ رَفَعُوا وَحَمَلُوا. They did not realize that the compartment was lighter than usual. وَكُنْتُ جَارِيَةً حَدِيثَةَ السِّنِّ. And she says, I was very young at that time. She was about like in her teens. فَبَعَثُوا جَمَلْ فَسَارُوا. So then they left. وَوَجَدْتُ إِقْدِي بَعْدَ مَا اسْتَمَرَّ الْجَيْشِ. So then she says, after they left, I found my necklace. So most likely, as she was coming down, her necklace fell, and maybe a camel was sitting on it. So she says, after they left, I found my necklace. فَجِئْتُ مَنَازِلَهُمْ وَلَيْسَ بِهَا مِنْهُمْ دَاعٍ وَلَا مُجِيبٍ. She says, after I returned, no one was there. I was all alone. And then she says, فَتَيَمَّمْتُ مَنْزِلِ الَّذِي كُنْتُ فِيهِ وَظَنَنْتُ أَنَّهُمْ سَيَفْقُدُونِي فَيَرْجِعُونَ إِلَيْهِ. So she says, I went back to where everybody was, and I was hoping that, maybe they'll realize that I'm missing and they'll come back looking for me in that same area. فَبَيْنَ أَنَا جَالِسَةٌ فِي مَنْزِلِي غَلَبَتْنِي عَيْنِي فَنِمْتُ. She says, as I was sitting there, because it was nighttime and we were all tired, I fell asleep. وَكَانَ صَفْوَانَ بْنِ مُعْتَلَ السَّلَمِي مِنْ وَرَاءِ الْجَيْشِ. And then she says, back then when this big group of people would be traveling, there was always 1 or 2 people that would stay behind. They would stay behind so that if anything was left, if someone had left their luggage, if someone had stayed behind, this one person could help that person go back and meet the rest of the group. So she says, Safwan radiallahu anhu was appointed that responsibility, that he would remain behind. He would remain behind the rest of the people, and he would come, and if there was anything missing, if there was anyone lost, he would help them return. So she says that فَأَصْبَحَ إِنْ مَنْزِلِي. So the next day in the morning, Safwan radiallahu anhu, he was passing and he saw me. فَرَأَى سَوَادُ إِنسَانٍ نَائِمٍ فَعَرَفَنِي حِينَ رَآنِي. He says, as soon as he was walking, he saw my figure. He saw my figure, I was sleeping, and he immediately recognized that it was me. As soon as he saw me, he knew it was me. And he says, وَكَانَ رَآنِي قَبَلَ الْحِجَابِ. And the reason he knew it was me, because before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded that the wives of Rasulullah had to be in the compartment, he saw her. So because he saw me, he recognized her. So he says, so she says, فَاسْتَيْقَظْتُ بِإِسْتِرْجَاعِهِ حِينَ عَرَفَنِي. So then when Safwan saw her, immediately he said, إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. He said it very loudly, and this woke her up. And she says, فَخَمَّرْتُ وَجْهِي بِجِلْبَابِ. As soon as I woke up, I covered my face with my jilbab, with my garment, with my cloak. And she says, Wallahi ma takallamna bi kalimatin. We did not say a single word to one another. وَلَا سَمِعْتُ مِنْهُ كَلِمَةٍ غَيْرَ إِسْتِرْجَاعِهِ. And I did not hear a single word from him except him saying, إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. وهوى حتى أناخ راحلته فوطي على يدها. So then على يدها. So then he says that, and then she says that he did not say a single word to me. What he did was he took his camel, he put down the camel, and which was an indication that I should go on the camel. And that's it. He didn't even tell her, get up on the camel. So then she says, فَقُمْتُ إِلَيْهَا فَرَقِبْتُهَا. So I got on the camel and I rode on the camel. And he فَانْطَلَقَ يَقُودُ بِي الرَّاحِلَةَ حَتَّى أَتَيْنَا الْجَيْشِ مُغِرِينَ فِي نَحْلِ الظَّهِيرَةِ وَهُمْ نُزُولٌ. So she says, I was riding on the camel and he was pulling the camel until we finally met up with the army. And we met up with the group of people during broad daylight. It was like around this time when it was very hot. مُغِرِينَ فِي نَحْلِ الظَّهِيرَةِ, which means it was very hot. It was in the middle of the day, like around this time when it's very bright. وَهُمْ نُزُولٌ. And everyone had again settled down to take a rest because traveling at this time was very difficult. It was just too hot to travel. So then she says, Aisha radiallahu anha, she says, فَهَلَكَ مَنْ هَلَكَ وَكَانَ الَّذِي تَوَلَّى الْإِفْكَ عَبْدُ اللَّهِ بْنِ أُبَيْ بِنْ سُلُولٍ. So she says that as we were approaching the group of people, Abdullah ibn Ubay bin Sulul, he was the leader of the hypocrites. Understand, we'll have to continue on, but he was the main hypocrite who spread all these rumors. But we'll continue on from here, inshallah, next week. And this story is very interesting, and it really highlights and illustrates how rumors and lying about people can completely destroy communities. And this story also shows us that even Muslims can get involved if we're not careful. So, we have to be very careful, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala teaches us in the Quran that when we hear evil speech, we should, tell the person that don't speak about these kind of things, and if the person doesn't listen, then we should walk away and leave. So, inshallah, we'll continue on next week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to understand. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to develop these habits within us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our communities successful, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our communities achieve their goals. Barakallahu lana wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Majid, wa nafa'ana wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikri al-hakim. Astaghfirullah li wa lakum wa li sa'il muslimin fastaghfiruhu innahu huwal ghafurur rahim. الحمد لله الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات وبارك على محمد وأزواجه وذريته. قال النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام أرحم أمتي بأمتي أبو بكر وأشدهم في أمر الله تعالى عمر وأصدقهم حياء عثمان وأقضاهم علي وفاطمة سيدة نساء أهل الجنة والحسن والحسين سيدا شباب أهل الجنة وحمزة أسد الله وأسد رسوله رضوان الله تعالى عليهم أجمعين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم لا تسلط علينا من لا يرحمنا. آمين. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه لا تكفرون. أقيموا الصلاة.